Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Backstory Podcast today from Espava. We are so honored today to, you know, what's happening is we're starting to bring back together many of the family members as we go forward into this podcast. Now, we've been going for almost a little over a year, I think. But as we go into it, we're starting to bring in more of the original family, is what I like to call it. These are people, many times, that were on the Virtual Light broadcast. We did the Virtual Light broadcast here out of Las Vegas, either in a hotel or out of my home here, for 25 years. So we had a lot of people come through. And one of the very special people that I am very honored to bring you today is Maureen St. Germain. She came to us originally, did some interviews with Sandy at the Virtual Light broadcast. We did some incredible things with it right from the beginning, and we just kind of all fell in love. So Maureen is with us. Maureen, welcome, everybody. Glad you're here.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me. And it's so nice to reconnect.
Yeah, it is. It's been a while. It's been very magical. We've got some whole bunch of people that are starting to come back together. A lot of this is our promotion person, Gail. She brought us a lot of people from the Virtual Light broadcast. So it's kind of all coming back together in many ways. So welcome. So today, I mean, when we first met, you were busy with the 11-11-11. You were busy with writing a book. I think was your first book, if I'm not right. Be the Gene.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the last time I've seen you. Now I have watched you, and I have watched your stuff. Girl.
8 books.
It's just absolutely amazing. 8? Is that where you're at? Awesome. Mm-hmm. So am I. I'm at number 8. I just sold it in Serbian. Who knows?
It's crazy. I know. I think I'm published in 15 different languages, and I've personally taught in 24 different countries.
I have too. I'm right in. We're very close. I'm at 23 countries, and I'm Serbian is the 19th language. Not all of my 8 books were translated into all the languages, but you know,
exactly. Mine too.
They kind of pick and choose
what they want.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, that is incredible. So we've been traveling the globe, going different ways, and never crossing paths. So it's really good to sit down with you and have some time to have you tell us what's going on from your perspective, because that's really what this whole thing's about. Mm-hmm. Tell us a little bit about your work today.
The most important work that I did recently was I completed 3 different books on 5D, and the first one was called Waking Up in 5D, and then 2 more follow-up books that are very juicy, very meaty. I always get feedback from people saying, I thought your first book on 5D was awesome, but then, you know, they proceed to say the benefits of the others. And in the middle of all that, I wrote this book called The Akashic Records. And over a year ago, we started an app with the guided meditations that I've been creating. And we have over 40 guided meditations on the app.
That's
it is a free app, and it has a lot of good stuff on it. It's called Illuminate. And my newest work is bringing 5D and sovereignty together so that we can begin to reclaim our true heritage on this planet. And I think a lot of people are in that shift, if you call it. And, you know, the whole big thing about the shift, if you will, is I have a very, I think, unique take. And my idea is that it's a graduation. And in fact, there was a wonderful channeled message that came through in 2018 that I often quote. And I'm going to give you just part of it. And it goes like this. The game is over, meaning the 3D game.
Right.
And then the next statement is, the game will end when there are no more players. Will you be the first to leave or the last? And I find that so compelling.
That's magical. That is really where we are today, isn't it? I mean, that's kind of the essence of what's going on right now. Are we ready to move? Or are we going to wait and see what's going on? Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, very
Magical. So you're teaching about the Akashic Records. I shared with you just before I came on, I've never delved into the Akashic Records. The group has been talking about something they called the universal energy, which turns out is the same thing as the Akash. It's the part that connects all of us. So I'm very interested to delve into it because this weekend, I'm actually going to be doing my first thing on Akashic Records, which I've never done before. But the group,
very cool.
You know, when
Well,
I get out of the way. Thank you. That would be awesome. That would be awesome. Actually,
Yeah.
I'll look it up. Your website is incredible too.
Thank you.
You have just one website?
Yes. We did the same thing you did. We kind of looked at everything we had, 150 pages, and we said, it's too much to manage, too much to maintain, and we compress it all down. And my webmaster, who was doing this work, said, don't ask me what I've eliminated. He was one of us. So, I had to trust.
Right.
And I just unhooked from it. And he says that we have all that information, but so far I haven't really missed it, so I guess it's okay.
Well, that's it.
So we just have the one website, and it looks small, but truly, the more you dig, the more you find information. So it's pretty cool.
There's a lot of stuff up here. Excellent. Awesome.
Thanks.
So are you traveling these days, or have you, we kind of broke the travel cycle when COVID came along.
Yeah, I was in China in September of 2019, and then again in December of 2019. And I actually came back quite ill in September with some kind of flu. And then, of course, the plug got pulled on all of the in-person events.
Yeah.
So I've been doing a few conferences, but I haven't traveled to teach a body of knowledge. Everything now is online.
Yeah, I've done the same thing. I am trying to get back out there. I'm gonna start with a couple of the places where we really have a good base in Holland and Belgium. So I'm probably gonna be doing some work over there for the first time in a long time. I've done a couple small one days, but I'm gonna be doing the same thing. That's magical.
That's excellent.
Yeah,
that's excellent.
Absolutely.
It's very exciting.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and there's a big demand for the teacher who's in person, because then what I want to share with everyone is going to a live event, whether it's with Steve or with me or any other teacher you really are in alignment with. Their energy literally serves as a vessel for you to amp up and to level up into it. It's a little bit like, everybody's learning the shuffle these days, and we keep watching. But if somebody's in person, it's so much easier.
It is. It's easy for us to kind of reach a lot of people over the internet and be able to do it. But when you're in person, the group does a lot of personal readings for people.
That's right.
We'll be in channel, and they'll start walking around the room. They'll put their hand on somebody's shoulder and tell them something important. We call that a drive-by, by the way. It's just kind of.
Oh, I love it. What a great concept.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, that doesn't happen. Of course, you can't do any of the personal stuff online in the same way. It's a bit different because I can do a lot of activations and things that way online as well. But that's amazing.
Yes, and
so
we
go ahead. Sorry.
We do the same. We do activations as well, and that's a big part of the work I'm doing now.
That's amazing. I love this stuff. For me, I'm very technical. I build the computers. I love to tell people that because it makes me sound smart. It's not, but nonetheless, I'm very technical. I love this stuff, and I love being able to do it. But it's kind of like I have a job that pays for my toys. That's kind of what it's like for me. I get to delve in all these fun little areas and be able to work with some of the stuff. That's absolutely.
I love it. I just love it.
So let's talk about the 5D a bit, because that is something the group has been. We've been trying to kind of ease off of the 5D because it has become so popular and so misunderstood, but we're starting to come back to it, and the group they don't care. They're going to talk about it no matter what. It's kind of
right.
It's kind of
what's
subject. Happening. Yeah, well, I think that's what's happening. So,
well, I'll give you a couple of tidbits that help kind of help people understand. First of all, a lot of people don't realize that when you're vibrating at 5D, you're actually participating in 3D as well, but your reaction is different. So someone comes at you with a criticism and you smile sweetly and say thank you, and it may confuse them, but you saw that there was some sweet energy behind it, and all the other stuff just isn't there for you in 5D. So that's one really important part. Another thing that we can do is we can choose proactively to be in 5D. And I have two things that I do in my day. When I go to bed at night, I say I'm waking up in 5D. I've exited the matrix. And then the second thing I do is in the morning, I'll ask to be in 5D for the day. And that literally changes the vibe that I'm able to express because it sets my own tone and my own intention. So, you know, sometimes I even get asked what's 4D or what's going on with 4D. And my response is 4D is this high vibe, high emotion, higher than third. So when we get emotionally involved, either super happy or super sad, we end up sliding up to 5 or back down to 3, depending upon what we're doing. And or sometimes we get caught in 4, like What Dreams May Come in that film where the protagonist goes to purgatory to get his wife.
Right.
And it's her own making, not a real place.
Right. It's what she believed, basically. Yeah. No, that's magical.
Right.
And the techniques for setting into motion, perfect. Talk to yourself. You are a creator being. If you speak, your voice comes out of your mouth, goes into your own ears, and magic happens. Pretty magical. So telling yourself that at night, telling yourself that in the morning is really a wonderful, powerful tool for anchoring 5D.
There's one more thing that it's like the big aha, and that is to stop saying, I have to.
Ooh,
and this is very interesting because what it does is it offloads your power to whomever or whatever will take it. And there's so many ways to own what you want to do. I get to have dinner with my beloved. I'm going to pick up the kids because they love it when I show up on time. I promised my boss I'd get this report done. I'm going to take a leave now so I can go finish it. And that places that power, that sovereignty, right where it belongs.
Right. Yeah, that's very, very important stuff to be able to categorize that and to be able to put it into unique places. And I've heard that, I know the group said this several times, and I think other people have said it too. They've talked about everything being a vibration. They say it doesn't make any difference what it is. It's vibrating, or it wouldn't be here. You would not be able to perceive it. And that's a range of vibration. We also have other ranges that we can't see that exist right in this same space.
Exactly. We know dogs can hear things that we don't hear.
Exactly.
But we're doing our capacity. And, you know, they talk about the big shift that's going to happen this fall.
Yeah.
And my take on it is it's a graduation and our gifts are coming online. And a person might not even know that their gifts have come online until something comes out of their mouth and someone will say, well, how did you know that? And you think to yourself, I don't know. I don't know how I knew that. Is it true? Oh, yeah, it's true. But I just didn't tell you. You must have intuited it.
Yeah, it's really difficult to describe that. There's the group says there's basically 5 ways that we channel. There's the clairvoyant, there's the clairaudient, the clairascension. I'm claircognizant, which is exactly what you just described. All of a sudden, you know something. And it's the most difficult to trust, to lean against, because you don't have a vision. You don't have words that were put in your brain. You don't have the message in that way. Just all of a sudden, you know something, and we're learning to trust it. And that's just absolutely magical. Other people have said this too, but the group has said it over and over and over again. 5D is not a place. It's not a location.
It's a vibrational data set.
It's a frequency, exactly. So we're not going to be able to live in it every day for every moment. We're so imprinted with 3D. We anchor for little times. We try new tools. We try new things. And the more that we can anchor 5D in it, we lose the 3D world altogether. over time.
Well, I'm not so sure we lose the 3D world. That's the interesting thing that I have become aware of, is that when you're in 5D, everything looks the same as it did in 3D.
That's true.
But it's who you are changes, and how you interact with the vibration around you
Right.
is what changes. And, I've come to the awareness that we've been living in 1, 2, and 3 all along. We just didn't
Yes.
label it that way.
Correct.
And now, as we expand our awareness, we can look down and go, oh yeah, this is like Russian dolls. If I'm on the big doll, I can see down. But if I'm in the little doll, I can't see up.
That's exactly right. Amazing. Yeah, and the whole frequency part about it, they have literally been explaining this in so many different ways. They've even talked about ETs. They say you can't travel that type of distance, and that nobody has that technology yet. If they learn how to shift frequencies, they can move places you don't even know about. So they started calling them EDs, extra dimensionals, instead of extraterrestrials. So we'll see. But anyway, plant the seed to kind of get the idea of that there's so many things going on with that.
You mentioned something that I think is really poignant, and that is the movie Frequency, starring Dennis Quaid. And I don't know if you've ever seen it. I've watched it a bunch of times because I just love it.
Yep.
And it covers this awareness that everything's happening simultaneously. It's just where you're tuned to. What's your station?
Exactly.
What station have you tuned to?
What frequency are you tuned into? Exactly. Absolutely amazing stuff. And the world right now is we're basically, one of the things the group said that I would love to get your opinion on and things of that is, they said the feminine energy has been rising a lot in the last 20 years, and especially in the last 4 to 5 years, which was why we're starting to see all this reaction of the masculine energy trying to hang on to things and over control and things of that nature to be able to do that. But we're moving quite a bit, and the more, again, of the harmony bringing in and not that one's better than the other or anything else. We both of us, all of us, need both energies, the masculine and the feminine, but it's been really out of balance for a lot of that. So,
well, years ago when I was leading a group in France, one of the messages that came through had to do with a woman's role is very much receptive and the vessel, and the man's role is action oriented.
Right.
And as we explore that and we get comfortable with those two categories, then what we can do is allow for the feminine wisdom to come through, and then the masculine receiving that wisdom, but then still choosing on how it rolls out. And I have a funny story I can tell about myself. A former boyfriend was helping me load my dishwasher. And it was one of those half-size apartment with size dishwashers. So it wasn't very big. And I start to tell him, if you put this way, it'll, you can do this. And he looked at me and he said, do you want my help or not? I had something else I needed to do right then.
Yep. I'll bet.
Yeah. So, and then following that idea, when a man and a woman are in a disagreement or a discussion, if the man will give space to listen to what the woman has to say and validate it, she'll be okay with whatever he does because she's been validated. That's what she needed.
No, I totally agree with that. That is many times, whether it's masculine, feminine, or just in conversation, we tend to jump ahead. We tend to, in a conversation, we tend to think, oh, if they're going to say this, and I want to say this, and I want to say, and we stop. We think about so much of what we want to say that we lose track of what's being said all the time. It's just it's kind of crazy. I've noticed that. And in 5D, that seems to get much clearer. To me, my excursions into 5D, especially with the meditations and the channelings and the things that we do, to me, that has been one of the ways where I can really focus the energy of 5D and pull out of all the reactions and the emotions that are attached to the 3D aspect of all that, because it it makes a huge difference.
Well, this whole idea of channeling is so important. And everybody has the capacity to channel. And one of the things that can be gained when you learn how to open the Akashic Records, the way I teach it is I teach people to recognize their own intuition, which they're familiar with, and then how to differentiate when it's coming from a different channel. And then what that does is it helps people recognize, oh, there's more than one inner voice. Because initially when people start getting information, they think it's all them. They think, the ego thinks, oh, that's me, I'm so clever. And then later they begin to see, oh yeah, that they're channeling. But the idea that you could actually channel directly from the Akashic Records or directly from an ascended being or an ascended group is an expansion of all that. And it's a little bit like we've all heard, if you know how to speak a foreign language, it's so much easier to learn another foreign language. So I think it's a little bit like that. Crossing that barrier into past intuition, into the Akashic Records is huge. And there's a huge opportunity in the lineage that I currently work with, because I've had people come to me and say, I studied with this teacher and this teacher, but your lineage is so much more powerful. And, just to be fair, there is a quality, insertion in our reality of what I will call mimic energy that is interfering with people's success. And then they get discouraged. So, it's good to have a good teacher, and it's good to, anyone can learn it. Just, you got to sit down and do it.
I totally agree with you. Yeah, that's what we teach here too. The group says everybody channels. You call it different things. The photographer sees something over here, he takes a picture. The artist sees something, the musician hears something. We all channel in different ways. If we can focus and actually learn to connect into our own higher self, the world opens. And that's hard to trust. You're absolutely right. That's hard to trust. My first question to the group was, am I making this up? That was, because that's what it felt like. It felt like I was making the whole thing up. Is it me? Is it my ego that's wanting to do this? They laughed hysterically. They said, yes, you are. Please continue. So, yeah.
Well,
exactly.
and that proves that two things. It proves that self-doubt is healthy.
Yes.
And that questioning is a form of humility. And then secondly, from their point of view, everything is funny. And that's one of the things I tell people.
That is true.
In 5, everything's funny.
That's
because
true.
There's nothing that's too upsetting that you can't laugh about it.
That's true.
So.
That's what the group says. That's the language of angels, laughter.
Ooh, I like it.
Yeah, that's basically how we can connect ourselves, our 5D or even the 3D selves, to home, is to just giggle a little bit, laugh a little bit, release some of that energy. Awesome. So do you have plans to do another event coming up, or what's coming up for you? Tell us a little bit about how people can connect with you.
Yeah, I'm doing we're having the Akashic Records training, which is set up as a year-long training, but we are allowing people to, if they want to contact us, we'll give them a way to do it for a segment and then segment it out, but they need to reach out. And then we have, I'll be doing Conscious Life Expo in Los Angeles in February. We're also planning a beautiful in-person event in Sedona, where I live now.
Right.
And that will be in the spring. And,
awesome.
We just came off of a couple of events here in Sedona. So, it's all shifting and moving and becoming very fluid.
That's a magical place. Every time I've been there, my life has changed. It's just been one of those places. I don't know if I could live there, to be really honest with you. The energy's
intense.
I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know. I'd have to see that. That's magical. And the Bradshaw Ranch has always attracted me, and I've never been there. So I will at some point try to work down there.
we'll
Fun
work that
stuff.
out. You're not that far away. You're only a few hours.
That's
4
true.
hours.
I'm fairly close. Absolutely. So I've driven down there several times. Incredible stuff. Absolutely amazing. So do you do private sessions? Is that something that
Yes,
you offer?
I do private sessions. I do a number of different kinds of private sessions. I do an Akashic Records reading for people, and we do record that so they can listen later. We also do a golden fire activation, which clears all the effluvia and all the energetic debris that people are trying to find their way out of. And it's a
Right.
little bit like hiring the lady who does cleaning of your closet. We're just pulling stuff out, and you come back and everything looks beautiful. So it's like a reworking without it. It's a big energetic shift that they make a commitment to, and then we come in and do the work. But then they still need to keep doing their part. You can't just rest on that.
Right. Absolutely.
So those are the
Interesting
two private things that I do presently. And I also do another body of knowledge, which isn't on the website, but it's very, very powerful, and it's called Quantum Matrix Healing. And what this is very amazing. This is something I've been working with for a number of years. We go into the alternate field with someone, and we focus on a behavior or a belief that they've been stuck with, that they can't figure out, why do I keep always getting upset, or why do I always bail whenever this subject comes up? And we don't have to know what it was that caused it. And in an instant, we're able to change it. And sometimes these sessions take 20 minutes, sometimes they take a little longer, but they are so powerful that the change in a person's behavior is instantaneous. So it's a little bit like therapy in that it causes change, but it's instantaneous. And it's effortless. Just effortless.
That's the idea. That's
Quite amazing. In one circumstance for myself, in the early years when I was developing this, I was working with it, and I was working in the corporate world, and I had a CEO who was a very nice person, but he was a chauvinist, subconsciously, not overtly. And as the CEO of a citywide agency, we were talking about going to the city council meeting where most of our funding came through that program. And he said, "Oh, but you have little kids. You can't go to that council meeting." And I remember looking at him and saying, "If I need to be there, I'll be there. And please leave my children out of it." And, I went home thinking, if I were a man, would he have said that to me?
That's interesting.
So I began to understand my unresolved anger. And so I did this process. And then the next time something like that came up, instead of "you're not allowed to talk to me this way" kind of thing, I actually said to him, "Well, that was a little below the belt, don't you think?" So
perfect.
The man in me, who is now fully balanced, was able to speak to him mano a mano.
That's perfect. That is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So very powerful.
The group has a similar description. They try to keep it simple because it's so easy to separate masculine and feminine and think that always means this and that always means this, and it doesn't. But what they've said is that if you want to bring it down to one word, like you have, they said masculine is about force, feminine is about balance or harmony, either one. And we need both. We all need both. We can't do one without the other, but we've been relying in the lower vibrations on the force. And that's what's changing on planet Earth as we move into the fifth dimension as well. We have a new balance that can spread out in all kinds of magical ways. And no politics are going to stop it. It's real simple. No,
that's right.
These are those are the things that kind of don't become important. As you step higher into the reality of it, it's becoming less and less all the time. Absolutely fascinating to see what we're going through right now. But interesting. Going to be a wonderful, wonderful
really
ride.
Interesting.
Going to be a wonderful
really,
ride.
really interesting.
Yeah, excellent. How did you get started? What started you off?
I think I was born awake.
Oh, yeah?
And I think I came in with a lot of knowledge. When I was a little kid, maybe 10, I was aware that I was being watched by benevolent beings and not so benevolent beings. I would know things and, say something to my dad or my mom. And they were also very plugged in. So even though they were devout Catholic, they were very tolerant of this ability
nice.
to channel information.
Right.
And then in my own growth, one of the big pivotal things was learning the MerKaBa and then doing it every day. And I did it every day for over 8 years. And when I also then developed a way for people to connect with their higher self and get 100% accuracy. And that tool alone has just catapulted people's abilities, because it's a very logical, step-by-step process that takes 6 weeks. And at the end of that cycle, you have accuracy. And I've had so many incidents where I'll use the word in a pickle or in a difficult situation,
right.
and my higher self would give me very precise steps to take, and boom, everything would be fine. One time I was applying for a job, and this was when I was still working and had kids at home, and I say working in a corporate world. And I applied for this job, and the man said, well, we filled this job, but I'm interested in hiring you for this other job, but it requires a lot of writing. Can you send me something that you've written? And I said yes. And then I called my old employer, and the boss was gone and the director of personnel wasn't available. So I couldn't acquire what I wanted to send him, which was a long proposal. So then I sat on my bed and I asked, what am I to do? And I was told, go to your printer and pull out the paper and look at it. Now, I had gotten in the habit of bringing home paper because they didn't have a recycling program. And I had this big box of paper. And, some of this went back 2 years. And here was the grant that I had written that I wanted a copy of to send to this guy. I got the job.
So wait. So you pulled this out of the papers? Is that what you're saying? Oh,
yeah, you know how you can use paper and put the wrong side up? Well, that's what I had. And it was a complete version without any errors.
And you were just told
amazing.
to go pick up the paper and read it. Amazing.
Pick up the paper, double check it, and then I just, drove to his office and dropped it off.
Amazing stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. You can't make this stuff up, right?
No, you can't. And the synchronicities, the way that this stuff comes together, you can trace it back and say, oh, okay, well, maybe this and that, but it's just too much. We have to allow spirit what we call the gentle nudges. They'll give us they won't shove us. They won't tell us we have to go through this door or that door, but they'll give us these little gentle nudges if we follow along, if we ask for it, if we proceed, and if we follow them. Really interesting times to do.
Yeah,
we've had
I've ignored a few gentle nudges, and it's been very interesting because for me, because I have such a strong connection, and this comes from the work in the Akashic Records and the higher self work. I was working in PR and fundraising, and my guides came in and said, call the reporter. Now, I'd called this guy maybe 5 times earlier throughout the day. And I said, no, it's 5 till 5. I'm packing up. I'm getting ready to go home. Call the reporter. No, my kids are hungry. I'm hungry. I got to get going. Call the reporter. Okay, fine. I pick up the phone and the reporter answers. And he says, Maureen, how could you possibly know that I would even be here? I'm never here at this time. And the best part of the story is my content made the front page of the largest newspaper in the state.
Did it?
The next day, very next day. And I'm sure my coworkers were thinking, how does she do that?
Yeah, how did that happen exactly? That's
amazing. And for sure, I don't do it. I just show up. And I always tell people, it's okay to tell your guidance, I'm not doing it. But then wait. If you get an insistence, you follow through.
That's absolutely true. They do not. The group does. The word espavo is thank you for taking your own power. That's the word and the meaning for it. So the last thing they want to do is try to take people's power and make decisions for them, or even, like I said, even open doors for them. They'll give us little nudges. I'll say, well, you can go over here. You can go over here. And we can work with this one over here. And I go, well, I don't want to go over there. Okay, we'll go over here. I mean, it's just completely non-judgmental, completely benevolent. I've been so blessed. Now, for me personally, I was very comfortably asleep until I was about 30 years old. So, or 35 years old, I think is when I started waking up. So the reality was that I did not have that early understanding that you had of having that wisdom. I don't want to call it an imaginary friend, because it wasn't. It wasn't somebody I spoke to.
It was an invisible friend.
It was an entity that I did not even consider to be a human. I just was aware. I was raised in a religion of a Christian religion, a Methodist religion, very calm religion, and yet I was aware that that was different. I don't know what it was. I didn't have anything there. And later, when I started channeling the group, they said, "Well, yeah, we've been together for almost 11 different lifetimes now." So I'm going, okay, now I get it. Now I get it. Of course, I had no recall of any of that stuff to be able to work with that on that level. But it's just been very, very empowering to have this here. And I do use it for me when I remember. They're back here all the time. Sometimes I forget to ask. Does that make sense? Sometimes I forget that they're there, and here I am trying to weigh out some problem, and I forget to ask. And all I got to do is ask. It's amazing.
Yeah. Well, I want to comment on two things.
Sure.
The first is there are people like you, like me, who have a quiet knowing without knowing how we know.
Right.
And that ability to speak it is very important for people who have that knowing and feel like they need to speak up. So part of that comes from, I believe, so much past lives of service that the knowing is part of like this diamond that is locked into the field for us. And it also limits our ability to recall all these ways we got there, because that's not important. What's important is the living word of the messages, because we're in a living field.
That's exactly right. Yeah. I was asking the group about past lives and what is it important to understand all this stuff. They said, no, you forgot it for a reason.
That's right.
It's distracting for you. You would live in your past life instead of where you currently are. So this absolutely interesting stuff, fascinating things.
In the records, they've often told people who can't do past lives,
right,
or they've tried to have a past life regression, that kind of thing, and come up with zip. The record keepers always say the same thing. It's because you reach a level of mastery, and that's all kind of locked into place, and you decide to come back and as a bodhisattva and be in service. But you don't need any of that other stuff or any of the other memories, because it is insignificant to what you came here to do now. And so that those memories are just locked, like you said.
Yeah, it's really interesting. We found some of the work that they've shared with me to do is even unlocking traumas that are sometimes caused in a past life that we bring forward. So I understand that, but that's not something we actually have to remember. That's something we can find our way out of and re-imprint and basically change in so many different ways. Yeah. Going to be a wild ride, girl. It's going to be a wild ride. That's just the way. It's just what it looks like. I'm very excited. I really am.
Me too.
You have to let go of some of the things that you attach yourself to. I did. I had ideas of where I thought things were going. They didn't go that way. So I had to let go of Steve's idea of what he wanted for the future. And the group is starting to show me all these incredible things that are opening up as soon as I let go of that stuff. So me too. I'm a human. I hate that part sometimes, but
Right.
we all got to
And
work with it.
I think the really powerful message is when I was at Chichen Itza for a 2012 opening, and I was working on my PowerPoint, my presentation, the guides came in and said, tell people don't listen to spiritual teachers. Now, I personally thought it was hilarious because I'm standing there, at the stage telling them, don't listen to me. But I didn't say that. I said, don't listen to spiritual teachers.
Yeah.
And I had to explain it because the audience just took it as like, did they just hear what I said? Did they get it? And the whole idea is listen to many. Don't listen to one, listen to many, and take what works for you.
That's the whole key. That's the whole key. The group calls it a fifth dimensional tool. They said the first fifth dimensional tool is discernment. It's knowing where your energy needs to be.
Discernment, right.
And where you have no business. Basically where you are. So learning to discern without judgment. We don't call it good or bad. We just call it, this is for me right now, this is not, and that's hard to do sometimes in a third dimensional world. That's very difficult to let go of sometimes, but that's how we're all evolving, one step at a time.
That's one of the things that I address in the 5D, Waking Up in 5D book, is the whole idea that even choosing to change your language and stop using good and bad, instead say, this is my preference. That's a match for me.
That's a hard one. The group's been saying that for about a couple of years now, that there is no good and bad. There's no black and white. It's all shades of gray. They keep losing it. And in the third dimension, we needed that duality. We needed that contrast. But in the fifth dimension, we start to see everything different.
Much bigger picture.
Much bigger picture. We can understand where things come from. Maureen, it's been a joy. I'm afraid we're just about out of time, but I do want to ask you if you have anything special you'd like to share with everybody before we leave.
Yes, the fastest way to stay fifth dimensional and to keep evolving is to announce to yourself every day, I'm asking for a day of heaven on earth for me and everyone I come in contact with and everyone I am in contract with. And what that will do is align all the people that you interact with, everyone you come in contact with, even if it's somebody at the bank. They might have a bad day, they might have a bad client ahead of you, but when you get there, everything is roses and beautiful flowers. So I'm asking for a day of heaven on earth for me and everyone I come in contact with and everyone I'm in contract with. And I have a cute story if you have time for it.
Yes, absolutely.
One of my students came to me and said, I decided that I was going to ask for a week of heaven on earth for the family reunion. And she said, I have a sister who's the drama queen, and she's always ruining the family reunions, even though we love to have everyone together. And I'm from a big family. We all stay at the same house. So I began asking for a week of heaven on earth for the family vacation that was coming up. The day before the family reunion started, the drama queen sister called and said, I'm not coming. So right away, there's drama. But then she said, I'm checking myself into a detox facility and I won't be able to come.
Wow.
So now the whole family knew she was safe. Right. She was working on her issues. Right. And as my student reported back to me, we had the best time.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
So you can do that. Just bump it up, a week of heaven on earth, 2 weeks of heaven on earth, whatever it is.
I love it. Absolutely magical. Very practical tools. Thank you, Maureen. Very, very important stuff for us to remember because it's really easy to get lost and look for all the answers under every rock we can find sometimes. But anyway, it's a joy to be with you, my dear. We're going to have to play together sometime. You and I will probably do something down the road. I'd love to be able to do that with you. That would be fun. Absolutely. And like I said, we're going to be doing a little bit with the Akashic Records, but you have a year-long process coming on. I'll be more than happy to tell people about that, about your year-long that's coming up. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I'll send you the information.
Please. Please. Absolutely. Sounds wonderful. Now, how do people get a hold of you? What's the best
St. Germain Mystery School, stgermainmysteryschool.com, or just type in my name into any search engine and it'll come up. It'll take you to YouTube videos. It'll take you to our website. It'll take you to Instagram, wherever you like to look. It's out there. And also on your phone, if you have either an iPhone or a Android, we have an app called Illuminate. And it's a purple box with a golden arrow that's kind of curled. And the name is Illuminate, and it's a free app. So you get to play with a number of free meditations. And then if you like what you hear, you can subscribe.
Wonderful. Wonderful. I love the phone apps. It's a magic, very personal, because you're very close and very personal that way. Maureen, thank you so much for being with us here today. We really appreciate it. I wish you the very best, my dear, my sister. I know that life gets interesting and we have a few turns ahead of us for all of us. But you know what? If we just hold hands, we're going to make it. We're going to make it just fine.
I like it. And it is my deep honor to be here. And I know we're going to reinvigorate our friendship anew.
We will. Absolutely. Anyway, thank you so much for being with us. And I'll let you go here and now and say goodbye to everybody. You bet. Thanks, everybody, for being with us here today. We'll be back next week, or every 2 weeks, rather. So I will be with you here to share with that. And Maureen St. Germain, you can find her just by Googling the name or through the St. Germain
Mystery School.
stgermainmysteryschool.com. I'm trying to read it at the same time. Thanks. Awesome. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Remember, you hold the power. It is yours. No one can take it from you. You can give it away if you wish, or you can hold it and try to evolve it in different ways. It's a new world out there. We're creating new rules as we speak, and we need your input. We're all part of this. Reach out and hold hands, and we'll make miracles happen. Aspav, everybody. Thanks for being with us.